Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you in advance for the likes. Come on in. Give you guys a couple minutes. And I'm going to do some shameless plug. I'm going to actually kick everything off by reading a quote from my book. You guys can see my book here. I'm going to be reading a quote. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started because I know some of you are going to watch the recorded version and you definitely don't want to hear me ramble. So this quote is by Roxane Gay, she is a feminist, but she is a Black woman writer. And this quote, again, is a quote from her, but it's from my book. It says, oftentimes when we talk about fatness, we talk about it in the context of weight loss. We talk about it in the context of triumph, where a woman has lost a significant amount of weight, and then she stands in half of her former fat clothes on a book cover and has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I don't even have one answer. Instead, I wanted to just write about the truth of living in this kind of body in a world that is generally wildly inhospitable to it. So again, this is a quote from my book, My Own Gaze. You can get it on Amazon. And again, it's from Roxane Gay. Oh, hi, Adrian. Thank you for kicking us off. I appreciate you. Hey, Gino. Thank you. Try to do a little something for y'all. Please tell me where you're from. And thank you again for liking this video. So I am going to jump right in. You guys know this is one of my favorite topics, to be honest with you. And I have some notes. So if you see me looking to the side, it's my notes that I'm looking at. So please drop where you're from. Gino is St. Louis, Missouri. And Adrian, where are you from? Okay, Louisville, Kentucky. All right, so I just want to kick it off with a definition of curated. So you guys probably know what it means, but it's carefully chosen and thoughtfully organized. It is the way you present something. So you guys know I have a business called Curated Legacy. So this live stream is actually called Curated Body Trends. So we are talking about the ways in which Black women are curating their bodies. And again, to read the definition, is they're carefully choosing and thoughtfully organizing their bodies. And this is a trend. And you guys know I talk about this. Hopefully I'm not looking too dark here. Let me turn my light up a little bit. 1 second. I don't want to look too shiny. But hi, Frank. So, all right. So let me just give you a quick backstory for those who care. Why am I talking about this? What is my fascination about all of the body stuff? Well, one, as I often share, and you guys are so kind when I post in the community chat, you guys are always giving me compliments, egging me on. If you're not if you're not following me on Instagram, if you want to see me in a bathing suit and all that stuff, feel free to follow me on Instagram. So I'm all about just really being my best self and not being ashamed. But at the same time, I realize that this topic is actually a topic that is rooted in shame for a lot of women, particularly for Black women. And so that is essentially what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to be delving into some of the latest trends, if you guys want to know what Black women are actually doing to their bodies. So backstory is, like I said, I don't know, comment below if you've ever watched My 600-Pound Life, if you watch shows like Botched. So I watch these shows, and I don't know, I've always just had a fascination with the way that you can change your body. And just for clarification, I have never done anything like that. I've never undergone any surgeries, but I've always been fascinated with the people, not necessarily the people that do, but sort of the outcomes and also why people do it. So I think I'm more interested in the psychology. So we are living in a time where, Black women have the liberty to change and rearrange their bodies. And the truth of the matter is that there's risk involved. So this is, by the way, this live stream, this is not a judgment session. I'm certainly not judging, but I'm highlighting the fact that there are a lot of women, particularly as they reach late 30s, early 40s, who consider body modification surgeries. And I can't remember what video. I think it was the video that, I think the title was something like the reason why Black women want to have a big butt. There were actually a few men who commented saying that their wives had undergone BBLs and that they almost died. And so this is not something that, I mean, I think it's an interesting topic that is taboo, and people want to pretend like the chances of dying is so rare, but there's a lot of people who, they may not have died, but they have become very close to it, right? And so because they lived and they're able to talk about it, it's kind of like, it kind of absolves them of, people feel like, oh, well, we shouldn't be concerned about this because people don't usually die. Well, here's a fun fact, actually. And I realized I didn't put any resource. I'll link some things in the description of this video. Fun fact is BBL death. So the number of people who die from getting a BBL, that is actually not tracked. It's not recorded. So there's a documentary that came out actually about a month ago. It was right after Jackie O passed away. And I'll try to link that in the description. But it mentioned that, again, the number of women who have died globally, not just in the United States, globally, from BBLs, no one's keeping track of that number. And I don't know why, but I think that's interesting because everything is tracked. Like right now, YouTube is tracking how many people are on the live stream, and I can go in my analytics and see, we all know the things that are tracked. I mean, if you say a word and you look on your phone, you'll see ads for that particular comment that you made, right? But why aren't we tracking BBL deaths? Like, that's crazy to me. So this topic is so fascinating because, plastic surgery has impacted the Black community in a way that no one could predict. And I think what we're seeing now is a lot of women sort of reversing some of these procedures. And again, I think it's really not about the judgment, but it's about understanding the risks. And there are risks involved. In fact, shockingly, there are a lot of videos on this platform right here on YouTube. And the title, I always think it's clickbait because the title will say something like, I almost died, having I got a BBL and I almost died, right? And I'm going to click on it because I'm like, what? And, you'll get to the end of the video and then the woman's like, it's true that she really almost died, but she always says at the end, but I would do it all over again. I don't regret my BBL. It's like, what? Like, how did you almost die, but you don't regret it? Like, that's crazy. So as you can imagine, right, like this topic has been one that I have wanted to delve into. And again, like I said, it's more about the psychology of the fact that and by the way, I'm going to be talking about more than just BBLs, but just kind of setting the tone here. When this, and BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift, for those of you who don't know. I always got to remember to say that. But, so crap, losing my train of thought. Oh, the surgery, mind you, this is a newer procedure. So it may have been in existence for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. This is not a procedure that's, it doesn't go way back like lipo. This is something relatively new. Let's just give it a good 15, maybe 20 years. And in terms of the accessibility to the general public, the accessibility in the Black community, that's even more new. That might be as new as less than 10 years, like maybe 8 years, or even 5. I mean, think about the pandemic. Think about, there was a huge boom of Brazilian butt lifts during the pandemic. Now, some people are saying it was those stimulus checks, people spending those checks. I don't know. But I think it's so fascinating that a surgery that was deemed, and maybe still is deemed, as the most dangerous in terms of the rate of women dying, is a surgery that Black women in large numbers have gravitated to. So that's something that I do look at, and that's something that, what does that say? What does that say about Black women? What does that say about, beauty standards? What does that say? And maybe it doesn't say anything, but I am someone who is sort of committed to sort of challenging, not just looking at, well, okay, yeah, people are doing this, but why are they doing it? And are they getting the outcomes, the life outcomes, right? Are they getting that? And are they getting the beauty outcomes? What does it come with? And so that is why I've sort of gravitated to this topic. Hike, is it King Cole? You said, when people stop caring what other people think and just start loving themselves, appreciate the people who care about you. Yes, absolutely. Now, one of the things I will throw in there, King Cole, is that a lot of women actually get the surgery for the reason why they get it is because for them, it is a sign of self-love. So just to sort of, name that a lot of Black women would say that, well, I got this because, this is me showing love to myself. A lot of women see surgery as similar to, I don't know, getting their hair done. It's a procedure. It's something that women, they know that it will improve, they believe that it will improve their aesthetic look and also improve their life outcomes, right? Because we have to understand that this is about more than just aesthetic looks. On the surface, we have aesthetic looks, but what we actually have is something called social currency. And this is actually the part that I'm most interested in. So for those of you, if you haven't been following me long, I have a video called, what's the name of this video? Body privilege, body privilege. And I think it's one of my best videos in terms of it's a lot. So you might have to chop it up. And to be honest with you, after I did this video, it was about 30 minutes. I stopped doing long videos because a few people commented and was like, I'm just so overwhelmed. Like, I can't believe you said all that. I said it's a lot. So you may need to chop it up in like 10-minute increments, but it's called body privilege. And it's actually my theory that I came up with regarding why women get surgery. We've heard about we've heard about pretty privilege. So in the white community, there's something called pretty privilege. And you can see tons of videos on TikTok, women talking about pretty privilege and how, as a white woman or even as a Black woman, but, let's just, for the sake of this example, beauty can change your life outcomes, which is true. But just to give you a little teaser for that video, my theory is that, many Black women, in terms of our features, do not fit in the traditional standard of beauty, right? Like, we have wider noses, we have fuller lips, our bodies are larger in size, right? We have kinkier hair. So, how does a Black woman who looks extremely Black, how does she fit? Will she ever have pretty privilege, in society? And so my theory is about body privilege, which is and again, this only works in the Black community. So outside of the Black community, this doesn't work. I don't think it works. I don't think Asian men and white men are like, be honest with you, what I've heard is that men who are not Black, when they see a woman with a huge butt, that woman just looks fat. Like, she doesn't look, it doesn't, I don't know. I'm not a man, but I've heard, again, other cultures, excuse me, that a big butt is not valued, right? But we know in the Black community, having a big butt is valued. So body privilege is all about the privileges that Black women can get by having a larger derriere in the Black community. But I need to do a part 2 to that video because, again, those privileges are superficial, right? Those privileges are temporary. Those privileges are not, But so it's to say that, yes, there is an advantage to having a larger butt, right? Which is the complexities of surgery, is because, there is an advantage. But how far can you really go with that, right? Like, there's so many women who have the nicest shapes and they're single, So, all right, you guys are kind of quiet. So please do chime in. If you have questions, I'm going to be getting, again, as I move along, I'm going to be talking about other things. I'm going to be talking about fillers, face fillers, lip fillers. So you talking about the weight loss shot. So if you guys have questions or comments, please do. Gino is saying weave, eyelashes, BBLs, it's all the same thing. Stuff black men ain't asked for. Yes. Gino, you are absolutely correct. But here's the thing, Gino. Now see, here's the thing. I agree that black men have never asked for these things. They never, these are things that a lot of this stuff is stuff that we want. But you have to ask yourself who's getting, when you say you are on Instagram, who are the so-called baddies? Who are the women making money off of that stuff? Who are the women getting the most likes? Who are the women turning the most heads, right? So again, black men are saying, well, we don't care about weaves and lashes and big butts and all this stuff. Well, they're not saying that. They're saying we don't care about BBLs. They're not saying it. This is very nuanced here, right? Okay, black men never said they didn't care about big butts, but they are apparently saying they don't care about BBLs. But women, we see the women who are getting the attention, and that is where the confusion is happening. Because how are you telling me that you don't care about all these things, but then the women who have all these things are the women who are turning heads? Now, are they getting wifed? That is another conversation. I don't know if they're getting wifed at a certain rate, but they are getting the privileges, the societal privileges that come with looking good. And that could be, monetary. That could be, maybe they're getting all their bills paid, I mean, yeah. Hi, is it Peter Diva? I noticed black men don't like short hair. Plenty of other black women have said this. A lot of black men. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that too. Now I can't say generally, but Peter Diva, just to confirm what you're saying, I have heard, and I have also personally experienced, particularly like shorter natural hair. I have experienced black men, not necessarily being into that. So that you raise a good point there. Adrian, not all attention is good attention. Facts. Is it a Taurus? Sexual attention only. Yes. I agree with that. Kim Kardashian got wiped. Okay. Good point. I appreciate that counter argument. That's true. Okay. I'm gonna take that for now. We'll probably get into that a little bit later. But you're right. And so I don't want to make the claim that, if you get all these procedures that means you won't get married. No. But when I see a lot of women who look amazing, like head to toe flawless, who are single? Yes. Do I see a lot of average looking women wifed? Yes. So again, I can only, going off just data, data in my everyday environment, I agree with you, by the way. And then how do you say, is it CJ? I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna call you CJ if you're fine with that, because CJOJ. So I add weave to my hair. Peter Diva, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, CJOJ. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So let me keep going here. So I like to call plastic surgery the underbelly of beauty. To me, this is the underbelly. Now, why do I say that? I say that because I think it's so funny, right? How, like, if you eat healthy, that's a postable, like, people will go online and post their smoothies, and they'll post the grocery cart with all the kale and, all the fruit and all that stuff. If you work out, that's postable. You'll see reels of people in the gym working out, lifting weights. I'm guilty of this. Well, I don't show myself working out, but I've made posts before about just working out, right? No one posts, hey, I'm gonna go get my boobs done. I'm going to go get a breast lift, or I'm gonna go get lipo and get all the fat sucked out of my stomach. Like, nobody is posting that. So it is very misleading. And again, and I'm not saying that like people have an obligation to post anything, right? But what I'm saying is there's an imbalance happening, because if you're going to post the smoothie and the, you know, the whatever, the flat tummy tea or whatever it is you're using to slim yourself, and if you're going to post the gym stuff and the workouts, but you're not posting the painful process that really is getting you the most results. I mean, of course, diet is going to always get you the best results, right? But we know that there are people who, by and large, are at a good, healthy size, right? And so for some people, if you're already healthy, eating healthy and exercising, it may not do a whole lot because you're already, you know what I mean? You already look good. It's like, okay, I mean, there may be a little bit of change, but you might not get the people who get the drastic changes are usually the people who are significantly overweight or out of shape, or, you know what I mean? So, but you can get surgery and get a drastic change, right? And so what's happening is that people are going and doing things that they don't disclose, and then they're going online and posting their videos in the gym and eating kale. And what it's really doing is actually causing depression, because you have women who will see that and say, wow, she looks so amazing. All she did was go to the gym and eat kale. And I've been doing that for the last year. And I haven't been able to achieve that look. And so again, that's why I say plastic surgery is like the underbelly, because it is the thing that, you know, people don't disclose, understandably. I'm not saying you have to, but it is the thing that a lot of people are actually doing. And I'm talking about regular people doing, but they're not telling you. And so it creates kind of a unrealistic expectation for people who didn't do that, right? But they're trying to get the same look. Check out my video, the reason why Black women want a big butt. I did part 1 and part 2 about Stormy Wellington. Okay, Stormy Wellington, who became a multimillionaire off of selling, you know, health and wellness and weight loss products. But she herself has had lipo, ab sketching, butt shots. You know, I mean, she's had all of the tummy tuck. You know, so it's like, okay, well, I wish you would have kind of said that when you were selling all this stuff. I mean, I don't know if, you know, maybe your outcomes, maybe you wouldn't be a millionaire. I don't know, you know, because looks matter, right? Women, I'm not going to buy products from somebody who's, you know, 400 pounds. I'm going to buy the product from somebody who looks like what I want to look like. And so you're kind of, you know, essentially selling yourself. We are our own businesses. But when you've achieved your body in a way that was sort of fraudulent because you didn't say that you did all of that stuff. It's only now she's coming out and saying it because her butt, I mean, she had to get her butt shots removed, you know, for fear that she doesn't want to go through what K. Michelle went through. So now she's coming out and saying that, oh, you know, I did all this stuff, but like, you're already a millionaire. You've already sold women a dream, right? See what you guys are saying. Hey, Christopher, a Black woman's natural beauty can be untouched, but how she presents herself to a man can speak volumes. Ooh, yes. Men are visual creatures. Presentation is everything. Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely. Well, and that's Christopher, you raise a good point, because sorry, I'm turning up the light again. I don't know why it just okay. Seems dark in here. You raise a good point, Christopher, because there's like a fine line, right? It's like even women who get surgery don't want it to look fake, you know, like I you know, and that's sort of the trick, right? Like if you can make it look real, it's believable. But to your point of natural beauty, you know, it's almost a thing now where it's like, what is that? You know, I mean, I think I know what it is. I think we all define it for ourselves, but on some level, women are engaging in a myriad of things. If it's not surgery, it's like we're talking about the weaves, the lashes, right? And all the things that you can take off. So the question becomes, well, if a woman has weaves and lashes and fake nails, is she natural? I don't know. You know? Gino, I prefer women who's slim or medium with large breasts. Thank you for that visual, Gino. Yes, I know you always do say you prefer slim women or medium with large breasts. Adrian, is it alopecia runs in my family, so I've learned to overlook short hair. Okay, fair. Gino, let me ask you a question. When, what is that? Who's that? Bad baby or whatever. Oh yeah, I think I know who that is. When she turned 18, she made 52 million. She ain't got no booty, but all breast. Yeah, but she's like, yeah, I don't know. She probably got famous off of, I don't even know. I don't want to misspeak, but from what I know of her, yeah, I think she's like a circus. So, I mean, maybe the money she made was for a different reason. I'm going to interrupt myself real quick and encourage everybody to like the video if you're in here. Also, I'm going to shameless plug for either my Cash App, if you feel compelled to donate, Neka Onolafor on Cash App, or donate right here if you feel compelled. Super chat me, you can put a super sticker in the chat. And then also go to my website, nekaonolafor.com. And on my website, if you scroll down to the very bottom, there's a box that says, join my community. And you just literally put your email in there and hit sign up. And that will allow me to add you to my email list. So I would love for you to communicate with you all off YouTube, because I do plan on eventually having some virtual and in-person events. All right. Got that out the way. Okay, so you guys are talking about, is it Bad Baby or whatever she is? Yes. It's the low vibrational plate. That is who I'm talking about. Her name is Stormy Wellington. It says, OG, I'm so horrible with these names. I'm gonna call you OG. Doing anything more than lipstick and mascara is unattractive. Keep everything normal. The fake body looks terrible. Looks terrible with clothes off. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a fake body with clothes off. So that's interesting. Gino, is conscious Black men like sisters with short hair as long as it's natural. Okay. Conscious Black men. OG, my wife's hair was short when we met, and then Blue Exodus. Oh, she's very unattractive. That's funny. Hi, Blue Exodus. Or Bobby Wright, Mr. Bobby Wright. All right, so where am I at here? Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna get into it. I know you guys are like, okay, let's talk about the trends. So we're gonna get to the trends, but I do want to talk. So just so you all know, and I'm fully aware that sometimes in videos I'll say like, I'm gonna do, I know I've said I'm gonna do a video about body dysmorphic disorder, and then I know I've said I'm gonna do a video about why I will never get surgery. So I'm aware of all the videos that I need to make, but I did want to say something quick about body dysmorphic disorder, because this is so fascinating to me that this is not something, in the Black community that Black women have self-identified as, I mean, I rarely hear a Black woman say, oh, I think I have body dysmorphic disorder, right? This is, and I'm not a psychologist. I can't diagnose anybody. I can't prescribe any medication, but I would argue that body dysmorphic disorder, and I should have probably looked up a definition actually real quick. Let me do that just so I can give you the right definition off Google. Body dysmorphic disorder is a mental illness involving obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. So this is something that white women generally struggle with. Usually when you see somebody saying that they have body dysmorphic disorder, it is a white woman. It is, or a woman that's not Black. It's rare that, and then believe me, I've done research on this, so I'm not making this up. I've done research, and I have not been able to find like a lot of Black women being diagnosed with this. But I'm going to go ahead and argue that, Black women do suffer from this. And I think that it doesn't get diagnosed. I think it might get misdiagnosed. I think that, But, you know, so body dysmorphic disorder generally has to do with, you know, say like a white woman who's medium sized, right? But she'll look in the mirror and think that she's fat, or a white woman who's thin, but she'll look in the mirror and think that she's fat. So my theory with everything is that it gets repurposed in the communities that it belongs in. So say, for example, if there's a Black woman struggling with body dysmorphic disorder, it would actually be repurposed to fit her culture. So I don't necessarily, you know, are there thin Black women out there who look in the mirror and you know, think that they're fat? Maybe. But I think the repurposing of this would actually be the opposite. I think there's probably more Black women who are larger, who look in the mirror and they probably think that they, you know, are small, or not small, but, you know, maybe they would perceive themselves as being smaller than they actually are, right? I think that happens. And I also think that there's a lot of regular looking women, right? Like just totally normal women, in some cases, maybe even fit women, who will turn around and think to themselves, my butt is so flat. And actually their butt is normal, right? I think this is some of the ways in which this body dysmorphic disorder is repurposed in the Black community, is that it's not what you see in the white community, because in most cases, you know, white women generally, and women of other cultures generally, have different standards of beauty. But for Black women, we know that most of us want to have a big butt, okay, whether it's natural, whether it's not. And so I think that there's a lot of regular women, regular Black women, who have convinced themselves that they don't have enough, you know, junk in the trunk or whatever, and that has led to a rise in a lot of these surgeries, right? And so I just wanted to say that I think that's an important point, and I hope to at some point do an entire video about that. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Oh, hi, Leo. Thanks for joining. I have to back up here. You guys are talking about hair. So Leo saying, unfortunately, not every Black woman was blessed with the genetics to have the hourglass or pear shape. Most of us, like myself, were cursed with the apple shape or other hormonal issues. So Leo, thank you, first of all, for sharing. And, you know, are you willing to say more, you know, in terms of what is it like? You know, I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're dating, but what is it like going through life? Because I agree that the apple shape or various shapes that, you know, can be more ostracized in society, right? And check out the video I did about body positivity. This was my last video. And essentially the premise there is that body positivity is fraudulent in a way, because it actually doesn't include everybody's body, right? Like when people say body positivity, you are really promoting a certain body type, like you said, the hourglass or the pear. So if you feel compelled, Leo, I would love for you to share more about what is it like navigating the world, like you said, with the apple shape. Are you considering surgery or anything like that? Have you considered surgery? You know, so just, yeah, if you feel this is a safe space, definitely. Peter Diva, not curse. Exactly. Yeah. I just believe that, you know, I just believe in making the best of your body, no matter what. And I'll be sharing more about my journey. I'll say a little bit actually, because, and again, like I said, subscribe, or not subscribe. I keep saying subscribe. Follow. I have to get those two words confused. Follow me on Instagram if you care to see me in a two-piece bathing suit. I just posted something today, but I remember the first time that I wore a crop top. This was actually a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago. And I remember, and then here's a crazy thing. Like, this is ridiculous, right? Now, and so this puts it in perspective, because you guys see me posting, right? And I think people think that I've always been confident and like, I've always been confident to a point, but when it comes to my body, this is something that I've had to sort of like build muscle toward. And so I remember the first time I wore a crop top, it was a sweater and it was baggy, but it was cropped. And I remember just being like, oh, I don't know about this. I'm so uncomfortable. I don't, and my daughter was like, my daughter who's now 12, at the time she might've been like 10. And she was like, you look nice. Like, just wear it. And, she was just trying to push me to wear it. So I wore it, and it wasn't bad. So I said, okay, well, let me not buy a baggy sweater crop top. Let me get like a more fitted crop. And so I just kept pushing the envelope. But I say all that to say is that, going to your point, Leo, is that I really do believe that, a lot of stuff is, I mean, yes, there is a societal perception, but a lot of it is us, and we have to be confident in our own skin, right? And I've had to work to that point. I'm not even there yet. I mean, I'm not, there's levels to it. But my hope, Leo, is that you, despite whatever society says, because believe me, I mean, regardless of how one person or a few group of people may think I look, the reality is, there are people who have different opinions about my body, but the most important opinion is mine. OG is saying, we just want it to be real, whatever you present. Gino, a BBL only looks good when it's covered. You guys keep saying that. Oh my gosh, really? Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen a naked BBL, but I'm curious to actually hear a little bit more about that, about the naked BBL butt. Why wouldn't it look? Why does it look different than a regular butt? Bobby is saying, men say, okay, Bobby, you're talking about natural hair, and I'm sorry, I'm behind here. So petite Black women are pretty too. Absolutely. You don't like Harry Pitts, Adrian? Okay. All right. Hi, Michael. You're saying, I don't know why they need to adjust their body when Black women have their own natural beauty, and yet they choose to look like others outside their culture. You saying a word, Michael. Hi, RP. When your man tells you he wishes your butt was bigger, that makes an effect. I had to shut my guy down and explain to him I'm not changing to fit his fantasy. I heard that. And see, and that's one of the problems, is that women see the thing is, women know more about women. Obviously, we know more, right? So we could see a woman and be like, her butt is fake, right? But the guy that you're with may not know. So he's thinking it's real. And some guys will compare, Kim Kardashian or whoever the person is, right? Nicki Minaj. Some guys are so crazy that they will actually compare those type of women to regular women who have not had anything done. It's like there's no comparison, right? I mean, we're not even talking, I mean, someone like celebrities, right? Many of these people have had multiple procedures. I mean, it's not one procedure. We're talking about 10 procedures. You can't compare a regular body to someone who has had multiple procedures. That's not fair. Gino is saying, I work with skinny young chicks who are 4,000 calories to blow up. I will say they butt did get they butt did get big, but so did the stomach. Okay, so you're saying they eat too much. Okay, and they're skinny. Bobby is saying, I don't understand what beauty standards Black women are supposed to abide by outside of health, seeing as Black people have every phenotype. Yeah. And Bobby, to your point, one of my friends visited Africa, right? And this is this is a longtime friend from back in the day, but she has a flat butt. She's a Black woman. She has a flat butt. And I think she's always been insecure about it. And she visited Africa, right? And I just remember, like out of all of the things that she learned, right? You would think like, oh, you would come back so enlightened with all of this. Like her biggest takeaway was, she was like, I was so happy I went over there to see that most Black women don't have a big butt. She was like, it just made me feel normal as a Black woman. and I was like, okay, that's a fair point, right? Because I think that there is an image that's pushed that, oh, Black women should look like this. And so if you grow up and you're thin, or you maybe you're medium sized, but you don't have a big butt, like those women can become ostracized within the community. And it could be, and again, these are the women who typically do get the surgeries, right? It's because they just want to be accepted. So I thought that was a very interesting point. CJ is saying, I think because the legs are usually skinny, even though the butt is big, right? Oh, okay. That's why it can look bad. Okay, I see. But that's not the case with I mean, some women, be honest with you, they, you know, yes, when the legs are skinny and the butt is big, that don't look right. But there's some BBLs that do look natural. You know, on YouTube, skinny shaming. On YouTube, skinny shaming or how I gain weight on YouTube. These skinny girls are obsessed with having a big butt. Yes. Bobby, you're saying BBLs look horrid, especially with age. Well, and that's a concern, Bobby, is that we don't know how it will age, and even doctors don't. No one knows. It's so new. The BBL is so new that like there's no way for us to know what it's going to look like years from now. Leo is saying, I think the attitude problems that most women with nice bodies possess, especially when they are horrible and rude, keeps them single. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think, of course, having a nice body will equate to having a bad attitude, but I can see how, women who have certain privileges, like pretty privilege, for example, and they go through life and, men are opening doors and pulling out chairs and paying their bills and whatever's happening. I think that can definitely, if you're getting treated like that, it can definitely lead to a woman having a certain attitude. But the reality is that just because someone's pulling out your chair and opening a door doesn't mean that they'll marry you, right? Doesn't even mean that they'll date you. And I think that this is where the confusion is happening, is because we have a lot of single women with extremely nice bodies, but they may not necessarily all have the outcomes, right? The outcomes that as women, many of us want. Bobby, BBLs look like ants. Oh man, ants in a full diaper. Oh, I wish I could say you were. I mean, I have seen that ant look, and it is not good. All right, hi Nate. I'm just kind of skipping down here to some folks who just joining. Oh, hi Julia. Julia is saying, I don't know the stats, but I've read that a lot of African women who are really voluptuous are frequently the result. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Look, BBLs are global, right? It's global. So African women are getting BBLs. So there is really no way to know. At this point, there is really no way to know. Hi, Michael. Just be happy how God created you, and you'll be fine, except the fact that you can't be like someone else. Facts. That is the truth. All right. I want to move on to, real quick, I want to highlight a creator who you all may know. Her name is Ostefco. And why am I highlighting her is because she made a video probably about 2 years ago. And if you don't, she doesn't post the way she used to, but she made a video and it went viral. And even Kevin Samuels talked about her. People were talking about her. Comment below if you know who Ostefco is. But I'm highlighting her because her video was about pretty privilege. And it was about how, as an average looking Black woman, she feels as though she does not have pretty privilege. And essentially, the video got a lot of backlash. Like, it wasn't received positively. I mean, she got a lot of followers, so I think it resonated with a lot of people. But there was a whole community of people who just thought that she was, like, I don't know, had low self-esteem. And the truth is, what she was actually tapping into is what people never see, which is they never really see that side of Black women, right? I think that really is what was happening. And so people were it was like a jarring experience to hear a regular Black woman kind of name that, like, yeah, like, I look average and I don't have the outcomes that, my biracial friends have. Like, I'm just pointing out that, when I walk in a room and I walk in a club or wherever, and it's me looking like a regular Black girl, and it's her looking like, biracial, that she's the focus. And I subscribed to her channel. I watch her content. I think that she has an amazing perspective, because we need more Black women sort of raising these types of points, because it's what we experience, is what many of us experience, but yet we're too ashamed to talk about it. Yet we feel as though we're going to be gaslighted if we speak up about it. And there's been a couple videos about like this whole average, like being an average looking Black woman. There's actually one video by someone named, I think her name is Tierra Noir or something like that. Her video went viral, 1 million views, right? And so I'm always curious about the data behind that. Like, if these Black women are making videos about looking average and they're getting 1 million views, that to me signifies that there must be a lot of women out there who this is, or a lot of people out there who this resonates with, right? So anyway, okay, just real quick, like the video. The likes could be a little bit higher. If you feel compelled, please do donate right here on YouTube. Super chat me or provide a super sticker, or donate to my Cash App, Naka Onilla4 on Cash App. And also go to my website, nakaonilla4.com, and put your email at the very bottom, where you can join my community. So would love to connect with you off YouTube at some point. All right, I'm gonna read the chat, and then I'm gonna get into some of the trends here, kind of catch you guys up to speed on what Black women are doing. So I haven't done anything, and I'm gonna be doing a video about why I probably will not. It's unlikely that I'll ever do anything like body modification wise, and I'll talk about that. But I don't know why I am sort of fascinated with knowing what are people doing, what are Black women doing. So I'm going to be spilling the tea on that here in a minute. But so where did I leave off here? Bobby is asking, or do women get beauty standards mixed up with male sexual attention? Just like you said, it doesn't mean we want to marry that. Different things. I think so. I absolutely think so. I think women definitely get those things confused. I think the assumption is that if you look good, from head to toe, because women, we're aware that men are visual, and that's something we learn young. And so we feel as though if we can stimulate the visual, that we have a very big chance at marriage. So, but I think what we find is that there is a discrepancy there, right? And so, yeah. Okay, OG, like the video if you are enjoying. Yes, please. Thank you, OG. Bobby is saying, good show, lady. Keep it up. Y'all have a good night. Okay, bye, Bobby. Gino, my young coworkers purposely ate higher calories to get a big butt. Wow. So did that work out for them, or maybe not? Because you said that they had a stomach. The actual shape and skin and how the butt looks is bad with a BBL without clothes. Interesting. Gino, you dated a lot of women. Well, I don't know if you dated, but it sounds like you slept with a lot of women who had BBLs, huh? You telling all your business on here, but that's okay. I know, Gino, you're very open, and I always appreciate that about you. Hi, Pretty Girl Table. I've watched her before. Now, is that Steph Cole? Hi, Opinionator X. Body dysmorphia is serious these days. Many have it and don't know it. Facts. I totally agree. T. Wilder, hello. I came in way late. That's okay. You can catch the replay. You can rewind this, or when I'm done here, it'll be out in the YouTube stratosphere for you to watch. OG is saying everybody wants to be special to everybody like a celebrity instead of being special to one person like the average person. Ooh, I love that. Yes. That is so on point. You're right. And that's how that is essentially what I had to do, right? Like I don't care about, someone, if I have a crop top on and somebody thinks I shouldn't have a crop top, or somebody thinks I shouldn't be posting on Instagram and in a bathing suit. I care less about that and more about me, but also I'm engaged. So, what does my fiance think, right? Like that is what's important to me, not what the world thinks. Keep losing my spot here. Yes, thank you, Opinionator X. Hi, Hi, Danny. Content creators that speak about being average get a lot of views because the fact is most of us are average. True, I know, right? But like, I agree. But so is it, are you saying, Danny, that they're kind of stating the obvious? But I'm just curious, why do they get so many views? Like 1 million views on a video? That's a lot. Gino, I think attitude comes from being approached and lusted after by grown men when she was extremely underage. They resent men because of that, hence the attitude. Yeah, that does happen, and that's really sad. T. Wilder, I actually want to get the flab of my biceps, no matter what. It just flab off of your biceps. Yeah, it just stays there. Only thing I do, I believe. Yeah, yeah. And so, and this is more about women, but to be honest with you, and this is only because I watched Botched. Comment below if you watch Botched. Some men are getting fake biceps, right? So this is this is not just a woman thing. Men are getting lipo, okay? And these are allegedly straight men getting lipo, allegedly straight men getting I don't know what they do, but it's some kind of silicone something they put in the arms to create the appearance of muscles. And allegedly, I heard this years ago. I heard Timberland, the producer, I heard allegedly he had like fake muscles. I don't know if that's true, but there's some rappers. Some of the rappers you know and love have been, said. I mean, they said that Drake has had lipo. I don't know, but I say all that to say that men do things too, right? Opinionator X. It's all a result of trauma, low self-worth, and misguided values. Yeah, for a lot of people, it is. High life coaching for men. There is a surgery actually for men to increase their height. Now, this is not something that has gone like, literally in the whole world, I think only a handful of men have done this. But there is a surgery where, as a man, if you want to be taller, you can become taller. But here's the thing. Now, this is crazy, because I'm like, who would do this? There is a height. So if you go through the surgery, there is a high chance that you can struggle with basic things like walking, running, and jumping. So they tell you all the risks. They tell you up front, like, yeah, we can make you, and they can't make you dramatically taller. They can only make you taller to a point. But there's a guy who had this done, and he was on TV, and I was just like, dang, I can't believe he did that. And it is incredibly painful, incredibly painful. And it's just like the things that people will like. Why not just find someone who likes guys who are 5'7", like, as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna make myself 5'9" and increase my value in the market. Like, really, is it gonna really help? Like, just that little bit. So anyway, just so you guys know, I know there's a lot of guys on here. There is a surgery like that. It's not only women doing some of this stuff, but I don't think the because you always want to think about, do the benefits outweigh the risks? Are the risks inherently higher, right? And in my opinion, oh, hey, Broken Traditions. Oh my gosh, thank you for being on here. I appreciate you. I actually, Broken Traditions, real quick, I'm giving you in my next video that YouTube is holding up because it's a little, I guess it's a little controversial, whatever. I gave you a shout out because I actually used some of your content. So thanks for being on here. So yeah. So again, that surgery exists. You can get that surgery. I would not recommend it. Let's see what you guys are saying here. And then I'm going to get into, oh, hi, Jonathan. You seem like my Igbo brother here with your last name. Watching from New Jersey. Love you, girl, for exposing this unreal beauty standard set by social media influencers. Yes. Yes. The social media influencers really push it. Broken Traditions. I talked to my gay cousin, and him and his friends are mad men get their bodies done. Drake got lipo. Yes, I have heard that Drake has had lipo. And like I said, I'm gonna put allegedly behind that, but I don't think it's alleged because too many people. Yes, Funk Master Flex. I did hear also that he got lipo. And honestly, I think he was the one that actually came out and said he did it. Some rapper actually was like, yeah, I did it and it was great because I was trying to lose 10 pounds and all I had to do was lay down and they sucked it out of my body. So yeah, there are men who are willing to admit it. OG, I respect no dude that gets his body done. Man card, right. You took his man card away. All right, I'll get back with you guys in a minute here. All right, so what are Black women doing? What are the actual trends, right? So we talked about BBLs. No need to belabor that point. One of the major trends right now is something called Ozempic and Wegovy. So comment below if you've heard of the weight loss shot. Weight loss shot. There's a lot of them, but Ozempic and Wegovy, those are the two popular ones. And this is something that I believe is going to be like the new thing, especially for Black women. Why for Black women? Because we all know that Black women struggle with their weight. This is a known, there's no secret that Black women are probably in size, myself included, right? You know, are the larger women. Like of all the groups, all the races, you know, Black women, we are by and large, weight-wise, the largest. And so some of us struggle with things like, you know, like pre-diabetes or diabetes. But here's the thing about the weight loss shot, right? Because it actually was created for, the weight loss shot was really designed for people who have diabetes, right? And so now I'm not really sure how, but a lot of people who don't have diabetes have access to it. And so it's so funny that now if you see anyone who out of the blue has gotten skinny, or not skinny, but has lost a significant and noticeable amount of weight, most people are like, you're on the shot. You are on the shot. Right? Because I mean, just think about it. I mean, I know me, I've been on many diets in my life and, you know, I mean, I've had some weight loss success, but by and large, I'm 41. So by and large, hey, if I lose 15 pounds, I'm doing it, right? And that's not like that's not like a super noticeable amount of weight, right? Now let's just say randomly I showed up and I was 50 pounds lighter. Everybody would just be, it would be jarring, but people would assume that I was doing this shot because this shot is something that a lot of people are doing. And again, they're not necessarily diabetics, they're doing it for aesthetic purposes. This is a trend for some people. Now, for some people, it is for health. But for a lot of people, it is a trend because it is an easy way to lose weight. This is becoming very popular in the Black community. And I think more and more we're going to start seeing this, Black women on this shot. Now, here's the thing, because I know all of us who if you like me, you grew up hearing whatever that word is. You can't take, you know, people always say you can't take a pill. You know, like the general thought behind this is there's no easy way, right? And then all of a sudden there's an easy way, and it's like, what? You know, like my whole life I was told that is so. But I think what it is now is I agree that actually is no easy way, right? Because with the shot, if you come off of it, this is not a magical solution. You have to continue to stay on the shot to get the results. And I believe that there have been some concerns with, you know, health, you know, like things that can what do you call them? What am I thinking of those? Complications. You know, there have been some concerns about complications and things, you know, just, yeah, you're losing weight, but is this causing another problem? So I want to know what you all think. But again, this is a trend, and this is something that's major in the Black community. So don't go judging people now. If you see somebody who just randomly got skinny on you, you know, you can't assume that they're on the shot, but there's a high chance. There's a high chance that they might be. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading, Gina. I'm reading about the man weaves, and that is a thing. You are correct. I learned about man weaves like 3 years ago, and I was floored. I was like, what? I did not know men got weaves. Julia, Ozempic is being associated with serious health risk already. There is a class action lawsuit in progress. Wow. I believe in exercise. I'm just struggling with getting started. So no shame. Yeah. Yeah, I knew there were some risks. I couldn't think of what they were, but fast food is trash nowadays, Leo. Yep. Adrian is saying I struggle to lose weight, but I'm a huge foodie. Oh man, me too, Adrian. I am a foodie and I do struggle with weight. So I was like, but I try to eat healthy, you know, for the most part. But you know, I one thing about me, I'm not gonna starve. Let's just say that. OG, I mainly eat home cooked food and mainly drink water. That is honestly the best. Gino is saying it's not easier for men to lose weight. Genetically, it's easier for women. Really, Gino? I've never heard that. OG, it is easy for everybody to lose weight. Just be willing to change habits. I don't know if it's easy, OG, but it's possible. It is possible. I'm not going to say it's easy, but you're right. It is about changing habits. Gino is saying, I'm lazy. I'll be honest. New shift, a change. Haven't been to the gym. Yeah, that can happen, Gino. You're saying don't take weight loss medication. T. Wilder, what if you get the shot, then start eating better, moving. So yeah, so that is I'm glad you brought that up, because the recommendation is that if you get the shot, right, what you really need to do is change your behavior. So the shot is just a tool. That's all it is. Just like when you get weight loss surgery and you get your stomach cut, you know, whatever, 80% of your stomach removed for the gastric bypass or, you know, gastric sleeve, it is a tool. But if you obviously, yeah, if you don't change your habits, then essentially it won't. Because there are people who are like, I took the shot and it didn't work. And it could be because, you know, they didn't really significantly change their habits. So, all right, what's another trend here? All right, we're going to talk about, man, I'm torn between all of these things. Let's talk about the plus size tummy tucks. You guys are probably like, what? Y'all think I'm weird that I know about all this stuff? Comment below if you think I'm weird. So, okay. Plus size. And Gino, I know you and I have talked about this. This is not, so disclaimer, this is not about, I know what you're thinking, right? You're probably thinking, oh yeah, it makes sense that plus size women who lose weight and they have loose skin will get a tummy tuck, right? Because obviously, I mean, that is really a lot of this surgery was actually designed for people like that, who lose a lot of weight and they want to, you know, they have sagging skin and they want to get that sagging skin cut off. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about regular women who did not lose weight, right? Who, you know, are my size or heavier, who just don't like having a stomach. And there is a particular doctor who specializes in the plus size tummy tuck. There is a Facebook group called Plus Size Tummy Tuck. If you care, if you want to be an imposter and go in there and see all the pictures, and I joined the group, not because I got a plus size tummy tuck. I've never had any surgery, like I said, but I was curious. And I think I left the group because I was like, I couldn't, they were posting like these very graphic pictures. But so again, why am I highlighting this? Because in most cases to get surgery, I mean, that is one of the things a good doctor will tell you, is that you need to be a certain weight, like a healthy weight, whatever that is for you or whatever the doctor's standard is. You need to be, you know, so if you are, I don't know, 300, I'm not going to say 300, but let's just say you're 250 pounds, you're 270 pounds, right? And you're like 5'6". In most cases, you're not supposed to be, you know, you need to really lose weight, right, to have a safe surgery. But there are doctors, and one doctor in particular who specializes in, he says he has no weight requirement. And so he will do a tummy tuck on you no matter what size you are. So there are plus size women who, you know, they want the look, they want the big boobs, they want the butt, they want all that, but they don't want the stomach. Understandable. But my concern is that this is extremely dangerous, right? Because if you are already overweight and then you're undergoing this extreme procedure, tummy tucks. If you guys haven't seen the tummy tuck, ooh, go look it up on YouTube. It's an intense surgery. And so, yeah, so that is a trend. That is a trend. There's a woman, she's not Black, but I'll still highlight her, Sarah Ray Vargas. She's a plus size influencer. And I follow her because she has, but she vlogged her entire, she had a plus size tummy tuck. She vlogged the whole thing. And believe me, I was eating it up. I was like with my popcorn, like, what? But she went through a lot. Like this is not, believe me. And so I wonder, I'm like, does she think it was worth it? Because I mean, again, she's still big everywhere, right? But she has a flat stomach. So, and so it kind of raises the question of going back to the BBLs too. It's like, well, does that look believable? Right? Because if you're a plus size woman, I mean, yes, there heavier women who have flat stomachs, yes. But is that rare? Probably. How is it that you have fat everywhere, but just like your stomach is washboard? How does that happen? Like, tell me your secrets. So sometimes when I see her now, I'm like, I'm not hating. I just don't know if you needed to do that. You could have just, because she didn't have a big stomach before. It was just, anyway. But you can look her up. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram, Sarah Ray Vargas. What are you guys saying about the plus size tummy tuck? Kerr, hi Kerr, if I'm saying that right. Tone your body up to a specific variety of foods to get your metabolism started. Your gene pool has adapted to a variety of food over centuries. Yes, thank you. Julia, you're not weird, you're informed. Thank you, Julia. Opinionator X, I believe the real battle is dealing with our own self-worth, which most often translates into obsessing over how others see us. Wow. If we can lose that thinking, we will be better off. I love that. And Opinionator X, you're on point with that because, and don't get me wrong, I do think that women sometimes do, especially in their 40s, right? Because a lot of women getting plastic surgery are 40 plus. A lot of times they do it for them. But there are a lot of women who don't even realize that they're actually doing it for other people, right? Because we don't live in a vacuum. We're all sensitive to the way our environment interprets us, right? Like I know for me, if I walk in a room of Black people, there's going to be a reaction or a certain vibe versus me walking in a room full of white people, right? The room of white people, they might be like, okay, I mean, I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like Black people, I might feel more comfortable in that room. I might see other women where it's like, okay, her body looks like mine, or we have comparable, but in a room of like white people, that might not be the case. I might stand out in a way that's not so positive. And so depending on your environment and who you're around, that will definitely impact your choices. And check out my video that I did about Nicki Minaj. I can't remember. I think it's called Can You Blame Black Women for Getting Their Body Done? Where, she talked about, and I love that she was open and talked about like, hey, I got butt shots because Lil Wayne and everyone I was around kept talking about women with big butts. And I just felt insecure, so she finally revealed why she did what she did. And and she was right. Gino, you're talking about your hair, your goatee. Opinionator X, tummy tucks are the most dangerous. Yes. Yeah, tummy tucks are very dangerous. Jackie O, who we know, who just passed from having a mommy makeover, a huge part of a mommy makeover is a tummy tuck. So I don't know exactly what happened with her, but the problem with mommy makeover, is you're getting multiple surgeries. So a mommy makeover is like the tummy tuck, the breast lift, and I think the BBL all at the same time, which is insane. Like, why would anybody? I can't even. I don't like pain. I don't. So That's a spoiler, slight spoiler to my video that I'm going to do about why I never got my body done and why I probably won't ever do it. But I'm gonna skip down here. Bobby Wright, if it's a man's fault why women risk their life to get BBLs, it is women's fault why men break the law to make fast money. That's funny. I like that analogy. All right, so okay, so yeah, wanted to talk. Okay, so next trend is filler. So filler in some ways kind of goes hand in hand with the weight loss shot to some extent. So there's something happening right now where people who are getting the weight loss shot, not for everybody, but for some people, their face is losing, what's the word I'm looking for? It's looking, I mean, anytime you lose weight, you're going to, in most cases, lose weight in your face, like, right? So that's kind of part of it comes with the territory. But I think they're seeing like a higher, like, I don't know. I think the doctors are seeing the face kind of droop at a different rate than maybe you would if you just lost weight naturally. And it could be because when you do the shot, you're losing weight so fast. And so what has happened, and also the butt. So there's something called, you can Google this, something called Ozempic butt. And so again, this is not everybody who's on the shot, but some people are experiencing a droopier behind as well because they're losing weight so fast. And so what that has done is that it's giving rise to the BBLs because, of course, that's kind of the purpose of a BBL, is to kind of put the volume back in there. But also what it's doing is, oh, thank you, Bobby Wright. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. What it's also doing is to the face is if your face loses a lot of fat, you're going to start looking older. So what women have done is they started doing fillers in their face. Now, and this has been going on. I mean, there's Botox, which you guys know, which gets rid of it doesn't get rid of, but it paralyzes your face to a point where if you have like those lines on your forehead, it eliminates that. What filler does is it puts the volume back in your face. So, Black women are doing this. Black women are doing it, and there's videos on YouTube if you want to see. And so it's interesting because there's this thing about like facial surgery in the Black community is more taboo than butt surgery. So a Black woman is more willing to admit that she got something done to her body than she is willing to admit that she got something done to her face. And I think that's fascinating. You want to know somebody who's done a lot of stuff to their face? What's her name? The singer, SZA. She has done a lot to her whole self. But her face, at one point, she had like a chin implant. Like this girl has done like crazy stuff to her face. And also Summer Walker, who I did a video about as well. She has had some facial surgery. But yeah, this is taboo. So Black women getting this is not as common, the nose jobs, but it does happen. But I think what's becoming more common is the filler, and especially, like I said, women who are older. And another thing about filler, it goes in the lips. So filler is not just for the face, it's also for the lips. And so we see this, and I'm going to be doing a video about lip filler because there are a lot of Black women who are doing this a lot. When I say a lot, I mean like it's out there. Will your average around the way girl have lip filler? She's more likely to probably have a BBL. But like I was recently in Miami, and I know this is something that goes beyond the Black community. A lot of women in the Latin community do lip filler, a lot. Like I saw so many women who were looked like they were Latina women, and they had lip filler. And it's kind of, the funny thing is, especially when people of other races do it, it's obvious. I don't know why the way they do it is like, okay, that's not even a believable. Your lips don't even look believable, right? But see, the funny thing about Black women, because Black women are known to have fuller lips anyway. To me, it's harder to tell when Black women get lip filler, but it's out there, and I'm going to be making a whole video about it, showing some examples. So this is another trend. And so it's to the point now, you guys, where it's really hard to know. This whole notion, going back to this idea of being natural versus being unnatural. What does that even mean anymore? Right? I mean, I think we know what it means, but there's so many things that women can do to change themselves. And I'm not saying it's bad, but again, what I think about is the maintenance of it all. Like, look, just for me to do my hair and keep my nails done, my nails polished, and like, the basic stuff, like I don't have time to go and get filler in my face and filler in my lip and the Botox. I mean, because all this stuff wears off. So it's not like it's permanent. Like if you get lip filler, it starts to, over time, it starts to decline. And so you have to go back and get it more injected in there. If you get face filler, same thing. It doesn't stay. So then you got to go back, get it pumped up, and I heard it hurts. It's not like it feels good. It's painful. So, and these things are expensive. But you have to understand that these are the lengths that women, the lengths that women are willing to go to be beautiful and to be accepted in society, to be accepted by men, to be, in their minds, right? I'm not saying they have to do these things to be accepted, but I'm saying in their minds, they think that they have to do these things to be accepted. And so they're willing to undergo all this pain and all this money, spend all this money, because the societal outcome for them is worth it. And then what also happens is becomes an addiction. So, and I've thought about this, right? I thought about, and this is again another sport. I may not even do my video about why. Comment below if you want me to do my video about why I'll probably never get my body done. But another spoiler is, see, here's the thing. Because once you do one thing, you want everything else to match that one thing, right? So say if I got a tummy tuck and I had a washboard flat stomach, then it's like, well, okay, now my stomach looks washboard, but so now I'm 41. So now, okay, now I got a 21-year-old stomach. Now I got to do this. Because then I'm trying to make everything match. And I think that that's what happens a lot of times. Is like women are, it becomes addictive because you fixate on other things. It's like, okay, got my butt done, great. Oh, dang, but my breast, then, whatever. Then you do that. And then you're like, well, but my stomach. Then you do that. And then the next thing you know, you just keep doing stuff. And it's like, well, where do you draw the line? So my theory here is, well, why not I can just not do anything and everything would just match, as opposed to me doing that one thing. But I do think that, just to be fair here, is that there are people. So there are people who are good candidates for surgery. So again, if you have very sagging skin, perhaps you lost a lot of weight, or, maybe there is some kind of, deformity or extreme irregular T. I don't think I said that right, but there are reasons. So I don't want to make it seem like surgery is pointless, because no, there's a reason for surgery. But I think you have to consider again the risks. Is it worth the benefit, right? And if you're only going to get a very minor result, it's like, well, is it worth risking your life over? I still think about Jackie O, and like that is just, three small children who won't have a mom, and she was beautiful. I'm like, I don't even understand why she thought she needed a mommy makeover. But the reality is that decision is why three young, beautiful kids will not grow up with their mother. And I think any parent can attest to the fact that, I mean, we can't control when we're going to die, but however I go out, I would hope, because here's the thing, there's a difference between, because I've heard people who, and I'm going to be jumping in the comments here in a minute, but I've heard people say, well, there's always a risk. I need to plug my charger up. I've heard people say there's always, you said don't do it. I see Julia saying don't do it naked. There's always a risk, right, with everything. And so I've heard people say, well, I mean, if you get your body done, it's like, well, what's the difference between you getting your body done, that there's a risk, right? Or having a baby, right? Because you could die in childbirth. Or what's the difference between getting your body done where you could die, or I don't know, crossing the street because you can get hit by a car or driving your car. You could have an accident. So here's my theory there, or my opinion is that yes, that is actually true. Either way, you're taking a risk in life, right? But going back to my original point, does the risk outweigh, do the benefits outweigh the risk? Having a baby, I think most women who want to have a child would say that they're aware that they could die. But to you, the benefit of having a whole human life that you birth is like worth it. So you're like, crap, I'm just gonna go for it here. Crossing the street, yes, you could get hit by a bus. That's true. Driving your car, yes, somebody could run you off the road and into a tree and you could die. That's true. But that is a freak accident. There's a difference between a freak accident and a choice and a decision, a calculated decision, right? So I think this is not about shaming anyone who has had surgery or wants to have surgery. This is really about, like, if you're going to do this, then these are the things you need to know, right? So if I die from a freak accident, that is out of my control. I was walking across the street, got hit by a bus. That was my fate. But if I make a decision, a calculated decision, and say, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do this, because I have this insecurity or, whatever, then that is me choosing that. And I guess, the reality there is kind of like, well, it almost like that's a harder blow to me, because I could have said no, right? Versus the bus hitting me, I had no time to say no. It just hit me. So I don't know if I'm making sense, but I think that, we really need to think it through. And I think there's a lot of women, a lot of people, but especially a lot of women who they never think about the other side. It's always like, oh, well, I'm just going to go get this done. And yeah, I'm going to have this amazing body. They don't think about the complications. They don't think about the pain that sometimes persists longer. And even with the tummy tuck, sometimes, you're cutting your, I'm not a doctor, but you're cutting your nerves, and like all of that stuff has to be restored. And guess what? And this is YouTube, so I don't want to keep getting flagged on here. But there are, like with tummy tucks, there can be the S word, consequences. So it can change because you're getting everything's getting pulled up. So I've heard women say that, yeah, like, I mean, it could be bad. It could improve in the bedroom, but sometimes it has a reverse effect, right? These are things people don't think about. When you're messing with yourself, you're messing with everything. It's not just that one thing. And you have to be, if you're going to do it, be willing to deal with the consequences. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. I went on a whole rant. Hi, intuitive Black guys. You're funny even when you're not trying to be. I don't even know what I was saying, but thank you. Divinity. Hi, Divinity 94. They look like blow-up dolls with all that crap. Oh, Barbie dolls is what Gino's saying. The Divinity 94. Right. Once you start those fillers, you have to keep getting it. There's no one and done. BBLs too. I work nightlife, and there are a lot of girls who go back for round 2. Exactly. Yep. Because round 1 is, doctors can only do so much in round 1, right? So yeah, usually when you're seeing a woman who has like this huge butt and it's fake, she's probably had multiple BBLs. Validation is currency of the audience economy we now live in. Wow, that is so true. And is it Chu? Oh, I'm gonna mess it up. Man, you guys gotta stop with these complicated names. Well, and I'm saying that because I'm assuming this is not your real name, but it's like, yeah. I'm sorry. Can I call you Chu? Opinionator X. The dysmorphia we see today is some deep level stuff. It's all a distraction and a form of self-worship. Wow, let that sink in. That's deep. Intuitive Black Goddess, 37. Most of them silly, stupid with all that mess. T. Wilder, as a woman, I've always been about natural beauty, never had fake anything or or in my body, including hair. Oh, wow. All natural. Okay, that's what's up. I can't say the same. I used to do, you guys check out my video about something is called I wore wigs and weaves. I wore wigs and weaves for 10 years. This is why. So I can't say that, but that's awesome. And Julia is saying, don't do it, Nate. I reached late 60s and never engaged in any of these trends. Okay, I admit to good genetics, but why do I feel like getting something done after listening? Okay, Julia, don't do it. It's funny. I just watched a video the other night. It was a woman who was 59, I think, and she got a tummy tuck. And I was like, see, at some point, you don't even really get a return on your investment, right? It's like, okay, like if you don't do this thing at 45, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but okay, if you're 60 and you're just getting a tummy tuck, it's like, I'm gonna need you to just let it go. Because you don't want your whole life in that body. Let it go. But she's almost 60 years old, got a tummy tuck, and it sounds like it went well. She didn't die, thankfully. She was able to make a video at least. Opinionator X, very necessary conversations, mainly even in this chat want to modify. Many even in this chat want to modify their body because they don't feel good about themselves. I encourage anyone feeling this way to rethink your motives and values. Thank you, Opinionator X. I agree. Rethink that. Again, if you want to do it, but you don't know what the outcome is going to be. K. Michelle did an entire show. I don't know if you watched. I can't think of the name of her show. This was about maybe a year or so ago. And she, because K. Michelle went through a lot with her butt shots. She almost died. She had to have, I think, like 16 surgeries to get all the butt shots removed. And so she did a show to help other women. And here's what's crazy. So I was watching this show, right? And I saw somebody, I was like, this is how small this world is and how pervasive surgery is, that I was watching K. Michelle's show and I saw someone on the show that I knew from real life. And he was the husband, or I think the boyfriend of a woman who got, I think she got a tummy tuck and hated it. And so, but yeah, so there's a lot of people out there who are not happy with the results of their surgery. And see, this is the other side. Botched, the show that I watch sometimes, is the whole show. They've had season upon season. It keeps getting renewed because there's so many people who've been botched. So many people who get surgery and it doesn't work. It doesn't turn out well. Right. So that's another thing to consider, is that, can you live with yourself if you get something done and you don't like it? Can you live with yourself? And what are you going to do? Because sometimes you can't reverse certain things. Everything can't be reversed. OG is saying the reason you cross the street and have a baby holds more weight than getting your body done. Yes, I agree with that. 100%. Life coaching for men. At what point will women say for themselves, enough is enough, that I'm good enough? Wow, that's a very powerful question. Life coaching for men. Tyrone Sullivan, and hi Tyrone, by the way, for those that think that way, have no concept of risk versus benefit, it defies common sense to give into vanity. Much risk and no reward. Yes, so much risk. There are also adverse reactions to the, thank you, yes, to the anesthesia. That is very true. And I'm trying to think of, that happens more often than not. I watch another, I watch like weird stuff, but it's some show it's on YouTube. It's called like Truly or something like that. And they feature all these like weird situations and weird relationships and weird, but anyway, there was a woman on there who got surgery, and yes, she almost died because of the anesthesia. So that's a whole nother conversation about not even just the surgery itself, but just this idea of getting put under, and that what's happening with your brain, what's happening with your body. Yeah, that's big. Yeah, I agree, Opinionator X. The guys are really chiming in. I'm curious how many women are on the live, but please do, ladies, comment. Oh, Chew. Okay, thank you. TM Wilder is saying all this is because of SM. What does SM mean? Being seen by so many, feel you have to look perfect. Most of the influencer people, even public figures, look nice on the outside, but are messed up on the inside. Facts. Julia is saying, oh, sorry, Pretty Girl Table. You're saying you agree. Julia, love yourself. Yes. Show is, wait, love your show. Oh, I'm sorry, love your show. It's like having a bunch of sensible, reasonable thinking people in my house, but don't mess it up. I love that, Julia. That's good. Chu is saying, do women really make these changes for men, or do women judge themselves through the eyes of other women? I'm gonna go with the latter. I think women are competing with other women. I really do. I don't think it's about men. I've never been with a man who've ever been like, yeah, I really highly recommend that you get liposuction, or like that's never happened. Okay. So, but I'm gonna tell you something. The most criticism I have gotten in my life about my body has come from other women, actually. If anyone has said anything negative to me, it's been a woman. So I think women are very critical. And that doesn't happen often, but it has happened. Women are very critical of themselves, and they project that on other women, right? So if you are a woman and you don't like the way you look, or you think you're fat or whatever, and you see another woman who you might think, in your opinion, should lose some weight, you're going to say, oh, you're going to make little comments. And this happens a lot, especially, some of you on here might be African, a lot with African women, very open, but they don't want you to say nothing to them, but they'll definitely, say something to you. And it's like, yeah. But again, I've rarely experienced any negativity coming from men. Because the truth is, men are pretty straightforward. It's like, and more so, when I was dating, if a man if he's not attracted to you, then he's not going to talk to you. So it's like, okay. And if he's feeling you, if he likes the way you look, then yeah. But women are more complicated. Let's see if I have any more trends here. And then comment below if you guys have any questions. I think I have one more, and this is not, and then comment below if there are trends that you all are familiar with that maybe something I don't know about. So the last one, and this is really totally different, but, and then I probably shouldn't even talk about this one because it's really not a trend, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it because whatever. It's a non-emergency or an elective C-section. And so this is going to be women who are, of course, pregnant. Of course, C-sections have been around for years. No shame, if you've had a C-section. I have one daughter. I didn't have a C-section, but I knew that there was a time where it was kind of like a C-section, which is surgery, which is major surgery, was kind of the goal was to avoid it. So, right. So of course, if there's an emergency situation, or if there's a particular health situation, like some women are in certain health situations where a C-section is better for them and their baby, or a woman is, yeah, or can't think of the other thing I was going to say, but yeah. So there's certain reasons why you would have a C-section. And maybe it's because, I don't know, you struggle with fibroids or something like that. And it's like, okay, it's better for you to have the C-section. Or again, the emergency situation where it's like, your baby's not, your baby, you're trying to push and the baby's stopped breathing. So yes, we are going to do an emergency C-section here because we want your baby to live and we want you to live, right? But now we're in a time where women can elect to have a C-section. And there are, a lot of women who don't want to mess anything up. What I'm talking about. And so they are choosing, to have a C-section. And I'm not saying this is bad. I mean, this is, by all means, if you've carried a baby, the baby has to come out somehow. But I'm just highlighting in terms of a trend. Like I remember when I had my daughter 12 years ago, I was really into like natural birthing, and I was all obsessed with all the natural birth stuff and everything like that. And like at that time, the sentiment was kind of like, you know, a C-section is if you have like worst case scenario, if you have to go that route. It wasn't really something that was pushed like, oh yeah, do you want to schedule it? You know, go ahead and schedule your C-section. So, and I know Ricki Lake, I don't know if you guys used to watch Ricki Lake. She did a documentary called The Business of Being Born. And she exposed a lot of the medical industry and how C-sections are actually pushed on women, not because it's a better option, but because it generates more money. It's expensive, right? So if you push the baby out, then yeah, hey, that's cheaper for, you know, the hospital's not going to get as much money from you because you did all that. But if they cut you, you know, and you got the surgeon in there and they're doing all that, then yeah, it's going to be more expensive and they want that. So Ricki Lake exposed the business of birth that it, you know, and I thought that was so powerful. And there were a lot of women who were like cheering her on and rooting for her. That is, I wonder if that documentary came out, how it will be received today. That was about, I think her documentary might have been even like almost 15 years ago at this point. It was before my daughter was born. But bottom line is now, you know, C-section is like the go-to. Like, you know, and I don't know if doctors give women a choice and say, hey, you want to have a C-section? Yeah, I don't know what, but I know there's a lot of women who just like, I'm embarrassed to even say this person's name. I told you guys on my last live that I used to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, so don't judge me. But Portia Williams on Real Housewives, I mean, she was one who was like, oh no, she was like, I'm having my C-section because I don't want to mess up my, you know. So again, this is another thing that I think is kind of trendy. You know, it's I guess unpopular to have a vaginal birth, and these are some of the trends. So. All right, I think I'm done. Let's see what you guys are saying, and let's see if you have any questions. I have to always find my spot here. All right, so Opinionator X, I won't date a woman that is considering modifying herself with surgery. I can't compete with. I can't compete. Hold on. I can't compete how negative she feels about herself. Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't. You know, that's why it's important to be with someone who is confident, or at least trying to be confident as much as they can be. It's hard. It's tough. They say Instagram actually, well, most social media causes a depression, severe depression in a lot of women because of the women who we see online, and we see what they look like, and we, you know, look in the mirror and we don't see ourselves looking that way. And yeah, it can cause depression and anxiety. Definity 94, why would you ever want that? I had so many complications with my C-section. Really? Wow. I'm curious if you feel comfortable sharing more. I haven't heard about a lot of the complications that can happen, but yeah. Opinionator X, absolutely, it's a surgery and surgery's cost. Yep. Hi, is it BOP 1818 or 1818? Some people bundle a C-section with a other elective surgery. What? Do they do that? Dang. Now I heard that they couldn't do that. That if you get a C-section, you know, you can't like have a tummy tuck and a breast augmentation at the same time. But it wouldn't surprise me if there were actually doctors out there who did that. So, and you know, probably in Hollywood, because I'm always wondering, like, how in the world are these celebrities popping out these kids, and then they have no stretch marks, they have a washboard flat stomach. I'm not stupid, right? Like, I mean, come on. And let's see here. The N1406, not interested in lip filler, but recently lost a little weight and I do look older in the face and my boobs were deflated. Yeah, for the first time in my life, I'm thinking of surgery. And I appreciate you sharing that because, again, I do think that honestly, a lot of these surgeries that people are getting really in their inception are designed for either people who have like a physical deformity. I don't know if deformity is an appropriate word to say anymore. Sorry if it's offensive, but people who have, you know, something physically wrong, or in like you said, people who lose a lot of weight. Because the truth is that the gym, when it comes to loose skin and like you said, your boobs sagging and that type of thing, the gym is not going to help you, right? Like if you lose elasticity in your boobs, really the only thing you can do is either gain the weight back, which is not a good idea, or probably consider surgery. But here's the interesting thing is that there are actually a lot of people out there who learn to love their bodies despite that. So like I said, I watched this show called, I think it's called Truly, Truly, something like that. And it's a really weird show, but it profiles people who make different decisions in life. And so there, shockingly enough, there are people who have lost a significant amount of weight and they have a lot of loose skin and they've embraced it. And they will come on there and be like, you know, I don't want to have surgery, you know, and they'll say that like, yeah, it's not ideal to have all this loose skin, but they've learned to love themselves. And I'm always so fascinated by people like that, you know, and like how like they have the option available to them. But again, maybe for them, the risks are too high. And they just, because even if you know, it doesn't matter whether you know why you're doing it, just if you're cutting on your body, that is going to come with the risk. I mean, point blank, period. Like if it's, yeah, cutting your body can never lead to like, I mean, it's going to be painful, right? And it's going to be expensive and there's going to be a risk, multiple risks. Alex is saying fasting can help. Okay, true. I do agree with that, Alex. You're right. And I have heard that. And I think fasting can help with just generally, I think, you know, the whole nine. All right. Well, I have kept you guys on here forever, and I just want to thank all of you for showing up for me. This is the Invisible to Viral series. So if you haven't seen my other lives, please go check that out. And on my main channel, I'm in review. So I made a video that I'm actually very proud of. I think you guys are going to like it, but apparently it has some inappropriate things that YouTube thinks is inappropriate. So it's in review and they said it's going to take about a week. So hopefully by next week, I'll be able to put that out. What else? And then again, I'll just kind of be a broken record here, but please go to my website. Again, nakaonelafor.com, scroll to the bottom, put your email in there so I can have access to you off YouTube. And again, by the way, I don't spam. So you're not going to get spam emails. Believe me, I don't even have time for that. So you will not be getting any spam emails, but you will be getting invites to when I have events, virtual and in person. What else? Let me check my notes, because once you guys are gone, you're gone. I think that's really it. I have a book. Most of you all know I have a book, actually 2 books on Amazon. So a children's book called My Brother Adam. I'm co-author with my mom. So My Brother Adam, and also my book, Memoir of an Invisible Black Woman. So if you feel compelled to check out my book on Amazon, and T Wilder LM, you teach me so much about stuff I never heard about in my daily life. Thank you. Keep doing you. I will. Yes, I have to have a place to share with all my weird knowledge. So thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, have a good night. And I hope to do these lives again. I just have to find a good time. So thank you guys for joining. See you soon. You'll actually see me. I won't see you, but you'll see me soon. Bye.